Welcome to the STARS program, seniors taking active roles in society. And now, here's your host, ANITA FINLEY.
We're going to be talking to someone that lives way out west in Las Vegas, as a matter of fact. If that's not west enough for you, it's Roberta Hladek, and she's the co-founder of Energetic Matrix Church of Consciousness. And the purpose, really, the reason I have her on our show so much is because I'm a part of something that's called AIM, and it is it's an organization that works with energetic imbalances in consciousness. It's what EMC2 believes to be the precursors of our predispositions for potential negative physical manifestation and impotence to higher consciousness. If you got all that, you probably didn't, but we're going to talk about what that all actually means as we talk to Roberta. So how are you doing out there, Roberta?
I'm doing great. How about you?
Okay. With the holidays coming up, it should be fun. I'm looking forward to it. I love holidays. Isn't that funny? Especially Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Yeah, it is. It's a nice time of the year, I think, with weather changing. It's getting a little cooler out here, so we're kind of... I guess we're happy about that. I like the warmth, but
I do too. And it got a little cooler here in Florida, actually. But as long as you dress warm, my mother always said, keep a scarf around your neck and you'll be okay.
There you go.
That's what I do. So let's just kind of talk. Have there been any new discoveries lately?
Oh, I've been discovering so many things. I was thinking about that this morning as a friend of mine had called me, and I'll just say this story real quickly, but he was having trouble with his lungs, breathing, and he's always had breathing issues, et cetera. So I said, well, let me take a look when I get in the office. So I came in this morning, and I took a look at him, and we found what we call an acquired frequency, which means that it's not hereditary. He wasn't born with it, but it's something he acquired along the way. I don't know how long ago. I don't know that. But it was so interesting because I had to call him. It was in his lungs as well, but it was also in his ears, his eustachian tube, which made his hearing difficult. But then it came up because normally when I'm checking, I'll find different things and I'll say, okay, that makes sense. It goes to the lungs, this, that, and other thing. But this odd thing came up, and it was pancreas, which is your sugar metabolism. So I called him and I said, hey, sugar metabolism, does that make any difference? Does that make sense to you? Is that something you've been experiencing, kind of, cravings of any kind, or feeling dizzy, or, hungry a lot, different things? And he said, well, not really, but he said, my father passed away of pancreatic cancer. And I said, wow, because this was in his pancreas. So I said, well, you might want to, take a look, watch your metabolism. If you check your sugar, check it more often. If you don't, be conscious of the way you're feeling. So I thought that was kind of interesting. So when I sent it out to all my facilitators, because I always let them know when I found something new and added it to AIM, I let them know that, be sure any participants that, or yourselves or kids or what have you, have any sugar metabolism issues, check that. So that might be, we were always, Steve was always really looking into some of the big things, to see how they would act upon our bodies, how they would affect us in different ways. And a lot of times these were, things in the pancreas would help those with diabetic issues, hypothyroidism, hyperthyroidism, hypoglycemia, all those kinds of things, metabolism type things. So that was my big thing today, and I was really excited.
That's very exciting. So that's right. So then it's really working. Now, did you send him to his doctor?
He deals with all that on his own. Mm-hmm. But he was mainly calling me because he was having some kind of lung issue, like his asthma was coming up, and he didn't think it should. But we did have a big windstorm last night, so I was reminding him of that it might be something in the wind. But I went ahead and checked, and he has he does his medical treatments and things that he has to do. So I said, just jot it down, and when you go in, or if you have to go in early, be sure and let them know, these different areas and things to check on. So he's really good at that kind of thing.
Okay, that's really wonderful. So I'm happy that we have something else to talk about. Well, tell me what it looks like when on your computer. Does it make all funny noises like a robot when you find something?
It sure does.
Really?
There's a graph that goes from 0 to 100. And if it hits like the middle, it'll kind of makes this weird noise. It kind of goes, ee. And if it goes all the way to the top, then I know it's not positive. But sometimes it'll just kind of go halfway, and it'll kind of just go, and then I know that I've got something. And so it kind of, I was taught, the way Stephen taught me, was not to look at the screen, because you don't want to focus on what you're looking at. You're focusing on the participant. And the reason that I say that is I'm using a photograph, and so I want to focus on that person that I'm looking at and clear my mind of anything else. I don't want to think about what's going on in my life today, things I've got to do, what have you. I'm only focusing on that person, because if my mind wanders in any way, then I lose my focus on that person, and I got to start over.
I see.
I want to keep totally focused on them, so that I can find what it is that we're trying to find, and try and help them get to the bottom of their so-called barrel.
I see. So that is really great. Now, do the people, of course, work with you? They're from all over the world. So how do you talk to them? Over the internet or over the phone when you're talking with them about all this?
Well, most of the participants, they all have what we call a facilitator. And the facilitator is kind of a liaison between us and the participant.
Right.
So they are in contact with the participant wherever they are around the world. And I have facilitators all over around the world as well.
Right.
So my conversations with my facilitators is twice a month we have a call, and I talk about the different frequencies that they've been seeing come up in their list. Because I send them emails and say, hey, I found a new frequency, and then they can go look at their list, and it'll be updated. Plus the newsletter goes out once a week, and I update it with any new frequencies that we found. But the facilitators, they speak with me twice a month. We all get together on a conference call, and we talk about the frequencies, and they ask me questions and what have you, and I update them. Plus we have TalkShoe. And TalkShoe is our radio program that we do twice a month.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Yeah, we do TalkShoe. Stephen was doing it every week, and then we've recently changed it to twice a month. And we record it. It's online at TalkShoe.com, and it's on every third Thursday from 9 to 10, 9 to 9:45, somewhere in there. And then we record those, and that's Pacific Standard Time. And we record those so you can go in and you can look at the different calls that we've done, and you can listen to them if you like. And we have archives of tons of calls, so you can even go back and listen to ones that Stephen did.
How nice. That's really excellent. And so would you say, I think at the time I started working with Stephen, I don't know if he said he had 1,000 people. I don't even remember what it was, but I get the feeling you have thousands now who are members.
We've got quite a few people on. I don't know the exact number.
Right.
It fluctuates from day to day. We have new participants coming on and all that. So I don't really know off the top of my head, but we have a lot of people on, that's for sure.
Well, one thing I want to do, though, is get people on from here. So we want to make sure that if you really want to get your body beyond what you know how to do with it, I mean, this is a very special program. We do have a facilitator here who is extraordinary, and Colleen Haney is absolutely the best. And you only have one in an area, don't you? So you're the facilitator for you?
It depends on what state, and a lot of times there's more than one. But some of them do one part of the state. Some of them do a lot of different states, because now the facilitators can handle a lot more area with the internet. Yeah, and all these new ways of doing things. Colleen is a very special person.
Yeah, she really is. She's really wonderful. So let me just tell you, if you believe in energy, and you should, everything is energy, and you want your energies balanced, there is a program called the AIM program, and it's something you ought to really look into. I'm going to give you a phone number and a website. You can start by going to the website and seeing that. And I suggest that you join that. My husband and I have been on this for many, many years, and we do so well. And I always have attributed a lot of this to being on the AIM program. So let me give you their website. It's called energeticmatrix.com. ENERGETIC matrix.com. And then go to the website, which is, that's your website. Let me give you the phone number. If you want to talk to either Roberta or one of the associates there, it's 877-500-3622. 877-500-3622. Just find out about it. You don't have to do anything. Just go and find out about it and see if this is something that so few people really know about this. When you think of all the millions of people who live, in this world, I don't know, we have 1 billion, I'm not sure, but this is so good for you to be aware of and for you to participate in. I talk to my friends. I always mention the AIM program, and hopefully some of them have joined. So I just wanted to say that to you. And my guest is Roberta Hladek, and she is running this program now that Stephen Lewis, who was I guess he was the founder, or maybe he did have some, I don't know if you founded it with him, Roberta, but...
Yeah, we worked together, but he actually founded the AIM program.
Okay. I know that I've talked to him for so many years, once a month, and we talked about several things. Some were very, very, I don't want to use the word far out, but they were something that people would hardly understand. But if you just listened all the time, you'd realize that he was on to something. And I knew it immediately because I'd always been involved with energy balancing and had been in a lot of programs. But this one is rare. And I know you feel really good about it, don't you, Roberta?
I do. I feel very strongly about it. It's helped me, and I've watched my family just go by leaps and bounds. But you know what's really interesting is to watch my staff here. I have the newest member to my family here is been on for 6 months, and I've watched her and her kids just go crazy. It's just been amazing to watch them. And then my next one has been here a little over a year, and she even has her cousin on who's on our autism program, and she was telling me how well he's doing, and he's only been on about 6 months, and he's had major changes. They're so thrilled. So it works for everybody. And even like your little puppy, he's so cute.
Right.
Little Charlie. He is just precious. That's a neat little puppy that we're getting on the program. And I've noticed even with my pets, we have an office kitty here, and I rescued her, and she is 12 years old, and she acts like she's a kitten. She's just full of life and very healthy and very happy, and she's just amazing. So you can put your pets on, too, not to mention your house, your office. We've had people put their screenplays on. Wait a minute. This is all new to me. Come on, Roberta, tell me about this, because my husband's written a few books, and we need to... Wait a minute. Tell me about this. Yeah, we have, and a couple of guys, musicians, have put their CDs on, and that they're, they've just finished, and they want them to get going, so they'll send us a photograph of the front of the CD. As long as it doesn't have people in it, we're good with that. People have put their books on. We put Sanctuary on, of course. We have our office on. We have our homes on. Even a lot of people put their cars on. So
I don't really care about
never ending. skateboards. We had a professional skateboarder put a skateboard on. We had a lady wanted to put her chickens on. We had a couple of chickens and all sorts of. We had a pig farmer who put 3 of his pigs on that he was trying to mate and things like that. So we've had all sorts of stuff.
Now, this is so new.
Surprised.
We have never discussed this. I love this. So, but when you said about a book, if it had a picture of what on there? Let's say there's
you just take a picture of the cover of the book, like he's published it, correct?
Yes.
Okay. You just take a picture of the cover of the book and fill out an application for the book. You sign everything, but we need to know what you want it called. And then we put that on the program as well. I had a woman, this is so funny. I had a home up in Oregon where when Steve and Evan and I were in Los Angeles, and we were trying to think of where we were going to move. And my sister lives up in Bend, Oregon, and I love it up there. And I really wanted us to move the office up there. And we were trying to get 2 people to think about where they want to move versus 3. It's just difficult. So I had a home up there, and I used to go up there periodically, and it was kind of like an investment for me, I guess. And then we decided to move to Las Vegas, which was a great idea, and we love it. But I had this home up there, and I was trying to sell it, and I was like, gosh, it's just, nothing's happening. And then my sister called me, and she goes, why don't you put it on AIM? And I was like, you would think I would have thought of that.
Right.
So I put it on AIM, and I got an offer on that home within the first 2 weeks that it was on.
Really?
And it was for my asking price, and everything just went so smooth. It was just a dream.
Okay, but you said something about the book, the cover of the book couldn't have a person on the front of it?
Well, if it's your husband, he's already on AIM.
So no. This is just a picture of a woman. It's not a person. He bought the picture. What does that mean then?
Well, we wouldn't. Well, we probably just want the title of the book then, because we don't want to put someone on there who hasn't agreed to be on AIM.
Oh, right. Okay, even if it's just some sort of an image. I see. Okay, so then that's what we'll have to do. All right, I understand. Well, this is really interesting stuff. So the energy, you're right. Energy is everywhere anyway. It's not separated by a person. I just never thought of that.
Mm-hmm.
Clever.
And people come into my house and they'll say, oh, gosh, it's so calming in here. So, and it's like, yeah, well, we're on AIM, and then they go, what's that? And I go, that program I've been telling you about.
Oh, my goodness. So when you're experiencing this, so you're saying that when we put something on AIM, when you said a car, what with a car? You mean that the car doesn't go bad or something? Is that why they...
Well, I think it's because of the energy everybody wants to have wherever they're, if you drive a lot, you want to have your car in there just for added protection, I guess.
Okay.
Positive energy around it. Like a lot of people do the surrounding with white light and pink light.
I see. Okay, I got it now. Right. Okay, because I was just thinking in terms of humans or pets or but books and that's another thing. So it's funny. I have I know a lot of authors, and their books aren't selling, so they should join AIM, right?
They should. I have a realtor. She is amazing. She has like 4 groups of families, her cousins. She's got everybody on AIM, and she's a really great supporter, and she's an awesome realtor. And she's been putting on her houses that she's trying to sell. She'll put one of the houses on, and they've been selling. So she said, I'm going to tell all my realtor friends about this. And I said, good idea, I mean, it's not, I want to clarify that it's also our intention. Whoever it is that's putting the house on, your intention has a lot to do with it.
Of course.
Your positiveness. So it's not that you're going to put it on there and it's going to make you millions of dollars. And,
no, of course not.
People used to ask Stephen to choose lottery numbers and things like that.
Oh, did he?
Like,
Oh, that's funny.
I'm not a psychic. I can't do
right.
that.
Stephen would not like that.
No, he wasn't for that. He would laugh and he would say, "If I could choose lottery numbers, I would have already done it."
Of course.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
that's funny. Okay, well, I'm very thrilled about the book. The reason is my husband wrote the book, and we didn't do too much to promote it, but I started reading it the other night. It's a very, very exciting book, and he has a few others he's done. So I'm going to see. So I would just one application for all his books, or one application per book, or what?
One application per book.
I see, and then
a photograph.
And a photograph. Then it goes
as long
in.
as it doesn't have people on the front.
Right.
Pets,
right.
You know.
Wow.
You know, there's another funny story about that. Is one of our members took a picture of himself in front of a bush in his yard, and it was just a little bush. And then he sent me a picture of him in front of that same bush like a year later. The bush was as tall as he was. It was huge because I guess it's from being on AIM. And I said, yeah,
Isn't
probably
that,
was.
Of course, the energy is what makes it clears it, right? And to clear to grow.
Absolutely.
Well,
like my yard, you know, here in Las Vegas, we get cold. It gets cold in the winter, and everything goes kind of dormant. And sometimes we even get snow up where I am. And my yard always is green, and my neighbors are all asking me, "What are you doing to your yard?" And I said, "Well, it's just this program that I have it on." They're all like, "What is it?" I thought I had some special gardener or something. I said,
right,
no,
a special gardener.
That's my program.
Right. It's hard to believe. You know, it'd be I would like to be there in a room when you're explaining this to someone, how their tree or their book's going to go crazy.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, this is some new information that we finally heard, and this is we've been talking about the AIM program for quite a few years, and Stephen Lewis is someone you probably would have recognized. He is no longer with us here, but he, I believe, is still there somewhere watching, looking.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't believe that anybody can ever leave.
No.
So we just can't touch him, and that's interesting. And you know, we never hear about Wayne Dyer anymore either. The fact he passed, and I don't really. You know, he was everywhere before, and now he's.
Well, I think they're still promoting him quite a bit on Facebook and some of the social media things. Yeah,
I hope so, because he brought so much information. He was so great. I just loved him, and I know how close Stephen and he were. Will you talk a little bit now about the autism? I think we did that with Stephen for a while, but talk about some of these diseases which really could use the help of an AIM program.
Well, the autism program came about from our good friend Wayne Dyer. He had a little girl whose mother came to him and said, you know, my daughter has this autism, and we just, you know, we're at our end rope here with it, and we just don't know what to do to help her. And so he called Steve, and he said, "Hey, Steve, have you ever worked with autism before?" And Steve said, "No, not really, not that I know of." A lot of times people will come on the program, they don't tell you everything that's going on in them. And so Steve said, "Well, send me your photograph and let me take a look and see, you know, what I come up with." So to make a long story short, we made a foundation from with Wayne Dyer, and we call it the Autism Program. And we used to tell Wayne, you know, anybody that you see or come in contact with that you'd like, you know, us to, you know, help out with the Autism Program, and that, to let us know, and, you know, we'll give them a free scholarship. So we started the scholarship program for autism, and when the participant wants to come on the AIM program and they may have autism, we check to see if the frequency of autism is there. And if it is, then we put them on a free scholarship. And that means that they're on the program for free. And the only thing that we ask is that quarterly that the parent or guardian, or sometimes it's even the participants themselves, write their own reports. And we just want to know how you're doing. Are you having more challenges? Are the challenges more difficult, or are they lessening? What's going on? And it doesn't have to be, a full page of information, but the more information you can give us, the better, because that's how we research how to help you. And so then we find new frequencies, of course, to help the person with autism, but it always helps all of us that are on the AIM program. For instance, we had this little girl that Wayne had told us about, and she was in Australia, and Steve happened to be teaching the program in Australia, and he was doing an event, and he said, this little girl got up and she said, can I tell you something? And Stephen said, great, I'd love to hear it. And she said, I used to have autism, but since you put me on the AIM program, I no longer have it.
Oh my goodness!
At the time, and she was now moving into the regular curriculum. She wasn't in a special education class, and she was keeping up with everyone, and she was doing fabulous. And she's been on. I believe she's still on. I'm going to have to go back and look for her. But she was on for years and years and years, and she was just doing fabulous. And we watched her grow up. She started when she was 9. I think at that time when he talked to her, she was 12. And he said there wasn't a dry eye in there. He said everybody was just, she was so cute and telling them how she's changed and all the changes in her life it has made.
Roberta, that's wonderful. We can talk more about that next time. I'm so glad you were available, and I wish you a very happy holiday, and I appreciate it, and I'm going to work on those books. I love this program, and thank you.
Thank you, Anita.
Okay, Roberta.
Happy holiday.
Yes, the same to you. Bye.
Bye-bye.